What's going on, guys? Sam Richards, Isolation Movement here. Today I'm dropping another video to talk to you in this long old month of January about why you're spending too much on your fitness and exactly how to save money this year and make sure that you maximize your gains for minimal budget. So this is something that I've always felt passionately about, that people simply spend the money on the wrong things in fitness. Now, there's loads of nuances about this topic, about which supplements actually work, which don't, what's a rip-off, is higher price supplements actually worth it? Should you go to a premium gym? Should you go to a chain gym? Now, there are loads of variables in this, but I'm just gonna spurt off some literal budget saving tips that you can use if you're not too fussed about all the niceties and you just wanna get the most bang for your buck this year. So tip number one is basically for all you supplement freaks out there, for everyone who likes to buy everything under the sun, the best name brand here and there. Now, I'm going to break down some truths. I used to purchase a few of the biggest brands in the sector. They used to have a monopoly on the protein world. You probably know who they are. They come in a lovely, high standard, gilded packaging. Now, I was always a sucker for this, the newest brand, who's got the most pure protein, who's got this and that. There's a little bit of a rip-off in this. See, I shop now at My Protein and the Protein Works. I don't do this for any reasons for money. I do it quite simply because I need the maximum amount of protein that I can get into my diet. I like to build my own shakes. I like to, if I'm building a gainer shake, I don't want to go out and buy a mass gainer where all the macros are fixed. My diet changes all the time. I want to be able to mix and match, add a bit more oats, add a bit less, depending on whether I'm on a high carb day, a low carb day, a cut or a bulk. And I like to know exactly what type of protein I'm getting in there. I don't like these blends of proteins, concentrate, isolate, soy protein. I don't want any of that. I just want whey isolate, the highest quality protein that I can get. And that's exactly what I get for my money. So rather than spending your money on all-in-one supplement or going to one of these name brands and picking up a 2 kilo tub for £45, you can go and get yourself, rather than concentrate, a whey isolate powder. Roughly 2 kilos is about £30, or 25 if you get them on a good deal. So you're going to be saving yourself almost half the cash for a higher quality protein that can be used at any time with just as good taste and flavors and mixability. It's pretty much pure whey isolate, and you can maximize your bang for buck. So Protein Works, My Protein, go and check them out, guys. If it's high quality, if they do, testing of their products, then make sure that you just trust that. I've been using these brands for ages. They are the real deal. They really work. They're some of the nicest tasting proteins, and the amount of flavor profile you get to choose from is huge. So go and check them out, build your own supplement stacks, get yourself some pure fine oats. It costs probably about £5 for 3 kilos of pure fine oats, which you can mix in with your shake. It's got some protein content in there as well, so it boosts the protein in your drink, and it means that you can customize the macros you want your shake to be. It's literally just taking one more scoop every single day rather than just taking one scoop with it all in it. And quite frankly, you're gonna save yourself a shed ton of cash. Tip number two is another one regarding supplements, and that's to strip it down to the core basics of what you need. So you see a lot of people out there, the Instagram influencers, who will be, maybe they're promoting their brand, maybe My Protein, maybe Optimum Nutrition, whatever it might be. They'll have a stack and they'll have cupboards full to the brim of supplements. Everything you can imagine. You've got insulin stuff, all the way through to BCAAs and stuff like CLA, L-carnitine. Do you need that? No. So there's sketchy science around most of these supplements anyway. L-carnitine has been shown, as you can see if you check out the Shredded Sports Science YouTube, to have very minimal, if not extremely unproven, fat burning effects. So if you're on a cut, that kind of thing, strip it out. You don't need that. Same with fat burners. If you're in a calorie deficit, you're fine. If you do enough cardio, you're fine. You don't need that extra expense. And the chances are, if you're on a budget anyway, you're not going to get anything high quality enough to be pure enough to actually be bioavailable and actually work with your body. So there's no point in wasting your money on something that pretty much definitely won't work, even if you did go that extra mark, and for sure won't work if you buy a budget version of it. Strip it down to the basics. Do you eat enough protein? Yes, in which case you get enough branched chain amino acids in your diet. You don't need to supplement these at all unless you're on a strict cut and you do something like intermittent fasting, where you need a 0-calorie drink, which is going to, be able to maintain your muscles in the meantime before you can get that protein intake in. So protein is all you need to strike out BCAAs. A multivitamin is something that you should be taking anyway for health reasons. Get yourself a good quality multivitamin, well worth the investment. If you lift heavy, also get yourself some fish oil. They are some that I think generally everybody in the world should take anyway, not just bodybuilding. So they're sort of no-brainers, no exceptions. Other than protein, what do you need? If you're gaining, you need some pure fine oats. It's the best form of carbohydrates in my opinion. They're slow. Yes, sometimes after a workout you might want some maltodextrin, but quite simply just get yourself some sugar. That's all dextrose and maltodextrin basically is. Yes, there's different sort of GI index figures for them. They interact with the body slightly differently. But if you want a high quality carb source and not have to buy 3 or 4 different types and guess what kind of ratios you want to be using, just get yourself some pure fine oats, mix it in your way, and that's absolutely fine. Any other supplements that I recommend? Pre-workout maybe, it's a minimal expense anyway. You really don't need to go to that extreme level, and if you can go without pre-workout, just use a coffee. It will save you a lot of money and a lot of reliance on stimulants to work out. I get that sometimes it's difficult to get yourself to the gym, but trust me, if you're doing a hard cut and you plan on competing, or you just generally plan on being able to maintain your fitness lifestyle, there will be times you don't have access to pre-workout and you need to just learn to deal with it. Point number 3 is all about your gym membership. Now this is a controversial one. A lot of people are very protective over what type of gym they go to, and I completely understand that. I used to go to one of the hardcore bodybuilding gyms in Brighton. You walk in perfectly clean, you walk out covered head to toe in sawdust and sweat and God knows what other bodily fluids those bodybuilders are spurting onto you. Now, that was great and it was motivational, but things were falling apart. That's part of the charm of it. That's part of the joys of being in one of those old school underground gyms. What have I done recently? Well, I then switched to a fitness first. That was fine, but the facilities for the price just weren't up there. It's £50 a month, twice as much as I paid for that hardcore bodybuilding gym, and I didn't get the same effects. There wasn't really any motivation around me. What do I do now? I'm a member of 2 gym chains. Each of them is around £20 a month or £30 a month, totaling £50 per month, which is the same as I spent on Fitness First. What do I get for that? I get 2 gyms, one right next to my house. I say that, it's about a mile away from my house, but it's an easy 15-20 minute walk. One of them is right next to my work, and I mean right next to my work. So when I want to go before work, at lunch, after work, if I want to go on the weekend, if I'm working from home, either way I have access to a gym. No matter where I go, I have access. And my gyms are chain gyms where I paid that little bit extra for the multi-location membership. So if I'm traveling, if I'm going up north, if I really needed to work out, if I was during contest prep, or if I just thought, no, I'm bored, I need something to do, I could quickly log in, change my town, and add on maybe, say, Nottingham, if I was up there. So really cutting down my cost of the gym has maximised my ability to work out. Yes, there's limited motivation there. There aren't really as many jack guys or guys who are actually taking this seriously, but it gives you that extra motivation to know that you can always go and there's no excuse then. Plus, the facilities in these gyms that are cheaper tend to actually be amazing, tend to be really good facilities with top of the line equipment, and they can't really afford for it to be breaking down. So you know that you're always going to get a good workout in. Now then, this one is a one that I'm sure ruffles some feathers. Tip number 4, walk more. Stop being so goddamn lazy. Now I get that some people live in locations where you just can't do that. Some people living in America, some people living in some parts of Europe just can't get to where they need to go, with a short walk. But say if where you need to go is 1 mile to 2 miles away. That's maximum about 45 minutes to walk there. And you need to think to yourself, do I have the time to do that? If so, then do it. Or is the bus only £1, or $1, in which case go ahead and, get that transport because the cost saving is just worth it. That's more time in the gym. But if you're planning on doing cardio anyway, why don't you do that on the way to the gym? You can get the bus back, you saved yourself half your money. Or if you plan to do cardio before and after, you can do it at both occasions and save all your money. I just think personally, I know that there's been times where I've been down on my luck, you know, even recently where I've had no money in my account and I can't afford to get the bus back from the train station when I get back from work. What do? I walk back and I speed walk, I make sure I'm going at a decent pace, and that gets my steps in, my cardio, a little bit of calories burnt. Of course, not much. My heart rate isn't really going, it's not really exercise, but it just all helps to add to it and mean that maybe you overate a bit that day. Just take the reasonable approach and get off your ass and walk there. Now then, given that everyone's preaching new year, new me, here's a new way to be a new you. Quit your job and get into fitness. Now, I'm not talking about being an influencer that takes years. I'm not talking about get on YouTube and do what I'm doing, because I'm not going to make any money off this for the next God knows how long. This is just so I can help people out. I need a channel to really give some advice and help people. I know what it's like being on your own, trying to do this whole fitness thing without a lifting crew, without mates to spot you, without people to keep you going. But what I'm talking about is, a while ago, about 5 years ago now, I quit my job that was paying about £7,000 more than the job I went to. Why did I do this? Because I went to work at one of the premium gym chains as a sales advisor. Yes, the money was the undoing of me in the end. However, what did I actually get to do? I got to work out whenever I wanted in one of the top gyms with high-class facilities, with saunas, with pools, with jacuzzis, with massive floor plans, with national level bodybuilding competitors training with me. So you've got to think to yourself, do I want to do this all the time? Is it worth sacrificing some potential future monetary gains to do this? Or can I get my same level of job with a decent wage doing that in fitness? If so, look at the perks. Think, what's my outlay on? Is it all on this kind of thing? In which case it might be worth it. Or even just working in a supermarket if you're doing something like that. Where do I shop? Well, I'll try and get a job there because then I might get a discount. There are loads of little things that you can do to save yourself some cash through your career. And if you don't really have a set goal, you don't really have a set thing you want to do, think about whether short term you can afford a bit of sacrifice. I don't regret it. It did wonders for me, connected me to some new friends in fitness who are really passionate, and some great guys, great girls, who are all dedicated, and it was great to see their progress. You've got influencers, people who are doing bits in bodybuilding. Might be worth a shot. Take your time though, don't make any brash decisions, and of course, I'm not advising you to do anything, I'm not telling you to do it, I'm just saying it's an option. Now, look, the reason why I'm making this video is because I've faced financial hardship, as I've said. Some of these tips just aren't going to cut it for you. Some of the times you're really going to be struggling to maintain your finances while you're trying to do this thing. What is the ultimate cheap lifestyle? Sometimes you can strip it right back. This is just one tip for people who generally can't afford to continue and they need an out, or something that they can do to maintain their physique while they're in a tough spot. What I did personally is that I quit my gym, and I was living off about £20 per week in food. It might sound silly, but what did I buy? I bought frozen tilapia, I bought rice, I bought pasta, and I bought stuff like processed ham. It's not ideal, it's not healthy, but you think about what you could do. You could buy 4 kilos of chicken breast probably from Muscle Foods for about 20 quid per week. If you spread that cost, maybe at the start of the month you purchase 5 kilos of chicken breast for £25. If you buy a massive bag of rice, you buy a massive bag of pasta, you get lots of frozen fish, and you just get some sauces, some condiments to go with it. You can really afford to maintain your physique on a dirt cheap budget, around maybe £100 a month. Now, I can't give you advice below that. Unfortunately, that's the stage where you're going to have some real issues in life anyway, and you're going to have to face some facts. But if you really need a tight lockdown budget, that's the best thing I can say. Just buy cheap. Think about your macros. That's all you need to think about. Eggs are dirt cheap. I used to live off eggs. Think about your macros and nothing else. You can't afford to go frivolous on fruit and veg because that does add up, I know. But that means that once you can afford it and you really appreciate it, you will appreciate it, sorry. When you can afford that stuff then, you'll be digging into fruit, some fructose, some good quality foods. But in the meantime, you need to make those sacrifices. You can't afford to go out and buy steak. You just can't do it. So strip your diet back. Tilapia, chicken breast, look on the online retailers, go to Aldi, go to Lidl, find your deals, find the half price in Aldi and Lidl. They exist. You just got to go at the right times. And with the gym membership, there are loads of places that are building parks now with pull-up bars, with body weight stuff. It might not be ideal, but go with your mate and get them to jump on the back as well, and then you can double the body weight that you're doing. Do pull-ups, practice calisthenics. There used to be lampposts in Brighton with they're like lampposts with bars, steel bars that were welded onto it. They were strong enough to maintain my body weight, I learned. So I did chin-ups. I just jump up to it, climb up, jump up, and do some chin-ups in the middle of the street. Nobody ever stopped me. Police were walking by saying you shouldn't really do that, but I'll let you off. I used to explain that. I used to do sprints. I used to do loads of body weight exercises. I just do it until I was fatigued. And if you're just looking to maintain, or even you will gain muscle mass, but it'll be slower, of course, rather than using proper free weights and proper time under tension techniques. You can transfer some of that stuff over to the outdoor world, but make use of that kind of stuff. Don't be embarrassed. I know how bad it is, but if you look dedicated enough and sure of yourself enough, and you own it, you walk around with a bit of a swagger, people aren't going to judge you. They're going to just think, wow, that guy's flexing hard, and he's taking his dedication to the next level. Tip number 7, my final tip is if you're struggling to find supplements or clothing or stuff like that for the gym, there are loads of young brands out there who are desperate for people to actually post about them, no matter what you're following. Even when I had 200 followers, I still have under 300. Still get people approaching me, asking me if I want to represent their brand, do this and that. Yes, it's affiliate stuff, but you get a discount at least, or maybe even free stuff that you can use. And really, your pride needs to go out and just realize that sometimes to get this stuff, you can do those things. So get in touch, if you've got those contacts that people have messaged you, young gym brands, whatever it might be. You never know who's going to be the next big gym brand as well. Look at Gymshark, how far they've come. So just reply to some of those messages and take a punt sometimes. They're not going to scam you. You can, if they ask you for cash and you don't have it, just be honest with them and see what they say. You might get some free stuff out of it, and you might be able to blag yourself a cheaper budget per month. And also, to add on to that, Instagram competitions, do them. I won Adapt Nutrition. Shout out to Adapt. They were great. Their products are actually brilliant. I'm not sponsored by them at all, never have been. But I won a competition to win their pre-train. It was great stuff, really natural supplements. Sometimes you can win, just keep applying. When you do, it'll be great. I never win anything in life, but I won that once, and that really helped me in a difficult time. Thanks very much for tuning in, everyone. I hope these tips have helped you. I know that we are well into the long month of January. Feels like January's been going on for about 5 years now, but you know what? We're nearing the end. So take these tips. Please do use them. I still practice pretty much all of them. I still pretty much use them. I could afford to spend more, but of course, now that I've left the natural realms, my budget is a bit tighter. So, I stick to these products. They're still really high quality. The Protein Works protein isolate is up there already. Got another one on order. And this kind of thing can really help you long term to learn how to budget and find good deals. So like and subscribe. Please do drop a comment below if you want to see anything in the next video. Fitness FAQs, whatever it might be, whatever you want me to cover, I'm happy to discuss it. Let me know and keep posted for the next video coming within the next week. Welcome back to the isolation movement, and follow for more.